And that sound you just heard is a buffalo stepping on a duck here in Eugene. 82-78. The Buffaloes down Oregon at Matthew Knight Arena. 82-78 as they win this one by 4. And for the first time since 2013, walk out of here with a W. How about that one, Buff Nation?
That was a great victory by the Colorado Buffaloes. Highlights from the Buffs' win last week in Eugene, Oregon, over the Oregon Ducks. Finally played that game after it had been postponed a couple of times. Back in the Buffalo Stampede, voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. We're here at Corelli's, where every week, Monday nights from 7 until 8, we do Buffs Prime Time. Best restaurant in Boulder, hands down. Anyway, during the show, we got a chance to recap that road trip of the Buffaloes with associate head coach Mike Rohn. First off, just having a road trip of that length, that's not something we do in the college level. I mean, that's something, NBA, teams get a week-long road trip and those kind of things. Major League Baseball teams, that's a taxing deal for a squad to go out and spend 7 days on the road like we just did.
Yeah, and it's not normal. Yeah. The COVID thing kind of dictated that for us this time, and you mentioned we're going to have another one.
That's right.
So
yeah.
Definitely not looking forward to that after what this one felt like. But yeah, it's a long trip. Guys missed 5 days of class.
Let's take them in chronological order. Let's go back to last Tuesday. That game against Oregon had been postponed twice. Supposed to be on, December 30th. Then it was January 3rd. We made that trip out to Eugene, Oregon. Had a nice swing. We went out there and had a nice supper and came home after a night in the hotel. And when that one was called off on the 3rd, you finally get that ball game back. Kind of go back and give us a thought or two about that one. What a great win for Colorado.
Yeah, it was a great win for us, to start that road trip. And that was really weird because we were there not too long before that, and
right.
Got the news right before we were at shoot around that we weren't going to play that night, and so that was a downer for the guys, just being able to deal with that. But no, it ended up being really good for us. We found a way to win that game towards the end and made enough shots and give our guys credit. That's a tough place to go in, as we know.
To go in and play that team and to dig a hole like the Buffs did in that ball game. I got to be honest with you. It was 20-5, I think, at one point. You're down 15 points at Oregon, who maybe outside of Arizona at that time was the hottest team in the league. They'd won 6 straight games, went in and knocked off both LA teams, 2 top 10 teams, on the road like they did. I mean, that's not the ideal way to start a basketball game like that, being down 15 points.
No, it was not the way to start. But, they made some really tough shots at the start of that game. And we knew eventually, our defense would kind of settle in a little bit. And we were able to get some stops, and then we made some good baskets, made some threes, and we felt like, as the game kept going, we were going to be able to score. And that's always a nice feeling when we felt like we could do that. Some nights it's a little harder.
Yeah, Colorado's been shooting the 3-ball much better here the last few ball games. Now, other shots weren't falling, of course, yesterday in Pullman, Washington. But back to that Oregon game, you got a young team. And sometimes there are times, I think, where they don't know what they don't know, and that can be a good thing, being down 15 at Oregon, being able to fight back. And the flip side of that would be maybe what we saw yesterday in Pullman. But kind of take us to the huddle. You're down 15 points. What's the conversation like with a team down 20-5 at that point?
Well, what Coach Boyle's, talk is going to be in those timeouts. It's going to be about getting stops
sure.
and getting our defense shored up. And that's the thing with our team that we're trying to get them to understand is some nights, you're gonna have some good offense going,
mm-hmm.
and when you're not, you're going to have to dig your heels in. And that's what we were able to do against Oregon a little bit and started getting some stops. Last night, we weren't as fortunate to make that happen.
Is maybe one of the toughest lessons to teach a team like this, as young as they are, is the idea of playing with the consistent intensity you need to play with in a league like this?
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that, all young players, have to learn and go through a little bit.
Sure.
And playing on the road is definitely different. You don't have your home crowd, supporting you a little bit. So we've got to get more consistent, and it's something we keep talking about. And that's all you can do is just keep going back to work the next day and getting better.
That ball game at Eugene, you guys kept kind of chipping away at it. Finally, with I don't know, when it was 8-9 minutes or so, if memory serves, you finally tie the game. You get your first lead at that point in time. And then maybe didn't handle things against the press that you knew you guys were going to face against Oregon. Maybe didn't handle that as well as you wanted to down the stretch, but still were able to pull the ball game out.
Yeah, we knew, anytime you play Oregon, you're going to have to do with their press. More likely at home, at their place than on the road. But it's a forte of theirs that they go to. And we were able to handle it well enough,
right.
To not let it, end up being in the loss column. And so that was kind of a tribute to our guys because they haven't had to deal with that on the road yet. But we found a way.
We'll go ahead and take a timeout. We're live at Corelli's. It's Buffs Prime Time. Back in a moment. This is Colorado basketball from Learfield.